Eamonn Holmes became unwell and left his GB News show live on air. The host, who revealed to the Mirror last week that he is working on borrowed time, caused suspicion on Tuesday morning when he vanished midway through an interview with Parliamentary Under-Secretary of State for Mental Health, Maria Caulfield, at 7:45 a.m. During the chat, Eamonn, who is typically rather vocal, stayed silent and let his co-host Isabel Webster question the MP. After then, Eamonn left the studio, leaving Isabel to host the remaining 90 minutes of their breakfast program by herself. The news was released a few days after the seasoned broadcaster revealed to the Mirror that, after splitting from Ruth Langsford, he was not at the TRIC Awards. Eamonn had to finish a little earlier today as he was feeling unwell, a GB News representative stated. His goal is to return tomorrow. A friend of Eamonn's told the Mail Online that despite his health issues, he was in high spirits. The 64-year-old has experienced health issues in recent years. At the TRIC Awards, he discussed an operation that went wrong with the Mirror. "Thank you so much for this award," he stated. "It was against world-class programs, which adds a little more specialness. We'd all considered imposter syndrome at some point. A year and a half ago, I had surgery, and it didn't go well. Two things that I didn't want are in my back. Every now and then Eamonn uses a mobility scooter. However, the public's reactions to his new means of transportation on social media have been conflicting. In an interview with Best Magazine in September, he stated, "I was being made fun of on social media by several people. Oh my goodness, I see Eamonn on a mobility scooter. I would prefer if I wasn't in it, but how else would I have gotten around?" I retorted. "The alternative is that I stay home and work from my armchair at the office. I leave then. Getting outside is mentally uplifting." After divorcing his previous wife, Eamonn reportedly turned to a mysterious blonde family friend for solace. Although Ruth has continued to take a hiatus from her television career, Eamonn made a comeback to the screens a few days after his divorce was made public. He said, "So here we are on this Tuesday morning, and a lot of politics," in response to the shocking announcement. "Before we go on, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who has been there for Ruth and me during the past few days since we announced our separation. Your assistance to the two of us is greatly valued." A while before, he'd said something cryptic like, "What a weekend it was." Following his forced departure from his live broadcast early today, 2 July, Eamonn Holmes has caused a great deal of alarm among fans. The 64-year-old broadcaster revealed last week that he recently broke up with Ruth Langsford, 64, of Loose Women back in July, saying, "I'm not okay. This is absolutely not a good moment." During his speech at the TRIC Awards, Eamonn, who was nominated for Best News Broadcast and Best News Presenter, reflected on his 14-year marriage and said, "It's too early to say, but I hope we can still be friends." Eamonn has been experiencing chronic discomfort for a while now, following his 3-disc slip back in 2021 that left him without full mobility. In order to attend the ceremony, he needed a wheelchair, and he told the Mirror that it felt like he was using borrowed time. In the years preceding the announcement of his and Ruth's divorce, he also experienced a number of health problems. "I wasn't going to come, but I've got this new chair with all these gadgets," he said to the crowd, explaining why he had chosen to attend the ceremony. "Have two things in my back that I don't want because of two things that went wrong during my operation a year and a half ago. Thus, I will gladly take this." Eamonn talked candidly earlier this year about his health issues. "It's as if somebody up there is playing with my life," he said. "In the past year, I've had an operation on my back, which went wrong and has confined me to a wheelchair. My shoulder shattered after I fell. To be honest, it was impossible to fake. I have tried every treatment, but you go," he continued. It's hard to accept the possibility that I might never be able to escape it. The GB News host was had to exit the breakfast program with Isabel Webster midway through due to illness, according to the most recent report. The celebrity was forced to leave early owing to illness, a GB News spokesperson told Mail Online, adding Eamonn had to finish a little earlier today as he was feeling unwell. His goal is to return tomorrow. Tyler has requested a remark from GB News. Before addressing his breakup with Ruth, the TV personality expressed gratitude to the audience for their support. He stated to the audience, "Just before we move on, we just like to thank people for your support for Ruth and I over the last few days as to the news of our." During his breakfast segment on G News, the TD host discussed the matter and thanked the audience for their support of both Ruth and him. He stated to the audience, "Just before we move on, we just like to thank people for your support for Ruth and I over the last few days as to the news of our separation. Your assistance to the two of us is greatly valued." After nearly 14 years of marriage, the couple had been together for 27 years. The couple claimed in a statement released over the weekend that their divergent paths were brought about by their respective professional obligations. However, they went on to say that they are determined to stay friends. The couple confirmed their marriage is over and they are in the process of divorcing, said the statement. After it was revealed that Holmes and Langsford, who had been hosts of This Morning since 2006, had been fired in 2020, the news apparently devastated them. Dermot O'Leary and Alison Hammond took their spots on the show. Eamonn is pretty furious, and everyone feels for him and Ruth. They are well liked on the team, but sometimes tough decisions have to be made, a source said to the Mirror at the time. After that, the 64-year-old Langsford became a regular on ITV's Loose Women, while the 64-year-old Holmes departed the show to work as a broadcaster on GB News. Additionally, the two have hosted episodes of How the Other Half Lives and Do the Right Thing with Eamonn and Ruth on Channel 5. They also included the diet shows Lose a Stone in 4 Weeks and Eamonn and Ruth's 7-Year Itch. A spokesperson issued the following statement: Ruth Langsford and Eamonn Holmes have confirmed their marriage is over and they are in the process of divorcing. The couple's breakup was announced only a few days after Holmes' struggles following surgery to treat chronic pain, which he had endured for nearly 2 years, were disclosed by Langsford. Langsford stated in an interview with Woman's Weekly, "I'm not sure how much Eamonn's mobility will improve. We are a people of hope. He performs the physiotherapy, but it may be necessary to acknowledge that accuracy may never be guaranteed. It's not always simple to provide care, and millions of people in this country are caregivers. Even though it's challenging, our family gets by." Observing Eamonn, who has experienced health issues and back pain, highlights the significance of maintaining good health.